Welcome to another episode of Accounting Recounted. Finally, the IRS is providing a free online portal that you can use to file your 1099s with the IRS and with your state. The portal is called IRIS, Information Returns Intake System, and today we will discuss everything you need to know about the portal, including features of the site, how to use it, and which returns they are going to accept. All of the information that I've used for this episode is from IRS publication 5717, which I will link in the show notes of this episode if you want to read it yourself. I will try my best, obviously, to summarize, but I do recommend reading through the publication for all of the details. Okay, so let's dive into it. Let's start with the summary of the system and just a little bit of background information. The Information Returns Intake System Taxpayer Portal is a system that provides a no-cost online method for taxpayers to electronically file Form 1099 series. You don't need to file a Form 1096 if you use this portal, which is basically like the summary of your 1099s that you usually would file with the IRS. If you're using the portal, you don't have to file that anymore. Now let's move on to a few key features of this portal. The portal allows you to electronically prepare and file Forms 1099 without having to pay a service provider or buy software. So maybe in the past, you've paid your payroll company to file your 1099s for you, or you bought some software to do it, but now it's a free service online that you can use. You can enter data for your 1099s by either keying in the information, or you can upload your information using a CSV file. You can then download and print recipient copy or copy B of the forms and distribute those to your payees. The system will retain a record of any filed, completed, and distributed forms, so you don't have to keep track of those yourself. They're stored online. It should reduce errors by using the system because before you submit, the system does perform a basic validation of your data to make sure that you've entered in all of the required fields. Another fun fact is that you can file up to 100 forms per submission, and there is also a combined federal-state filing program built in, which we will talk about later in the episode. But basically, if your state requires you to report this information to them, it can be done in the system as well in certain states. Finally, a few other key features is that in the system, you can also request automatic extensions, and you can file certain corrected forms if needed. Now, let's talk about who has to e-file. So in February of 2023, the IRS made significant changes to the electronic filing requirements that will take effect in 2024. Previously, the IRS only required e-filing if you had to file 250 or more returns of the same type, for example, 1099 or Form W-2. The new regulation reduces that number to 10. So that's right, we're moving from 250 to 10. Quite a significant change. So if you file 10 or more returns in calendar year 2023, you must e-file. And what is so important to note is that the new threshold applies to your combined number of returns. So for example, if you have 5 W-2s and 5 1099s, you must e-file because combined you have a total of 10 information returns. Just to be clear, you're not required to use the IRIS portal to e-file, the new portal that's available. You can still buy that same old software that you've been using for 20 years or, pay your payroll company to handle it for you. You can still do that, but since they've made this e-filing requirement so much lower to where like if you have just 10, you have to e-file, they're now offering this portal as a free option. And from my research, what I found is that the portal itself is actually pretty easy to use. Let's talk about who can participate. Essentially, any entity with an employer identification number or EIN that needs to file Form 1099 can file electronically via this new portal for calendar years 2022 and beyond. You can e-file all 1099 forms, including the most popular 1099 MISC and the 1099 NEC forms on the new portal. So how do you get set up to use the portal? Well, I'll have instructions in the show notes, but essentially you're going to go to the IRS website. It's irs.gov/iris, and you'll click sign in to Iris under the What You Need section. From there, you will sign in or create an account to begin the application process. And just make note that a responsible official from your company must be the one to initiate this application and complete it. So not just anyone can apply. It has to be a responsible official. Then you're just going to complete and submit the IRIS application for a transmitter control code, also known as the TCC. The purpose of a TCC is to identify who you are, and anyone who files returns electronically is required to have one. So that's essentially what you're applying for. Once you've applied and the TCC has been issued to you, you can access the taxpayer portal to submit your 1099 returns. It's worth noting that from what I've read, you should allow up to 45 calendar days for application processing. So if this is something that you plan on using this upcoming tax season, you need to get on it and apply, if not right this very second, then very soon. Because the due date, as most of us know, the due date for e-filing 1099s, most of them is March 31st. So you don't have that much time left. The 1099 NEC forms have to be filed by January 31st. So if you can get on this today and get your TCC code application in process, you will likely be able to meet that deadline. Otherwise, you might have to find another option for 2024. These dates are rapidly approaching, so I recommend hopping on the website right now and applying. Then, like I said, once you've received your transmitter control code, you'll be able to log into the portal, and from there, it's pretty straightforward. You'll be brought to the dashboard where there are options to upload a CSV file or start manually entering your 1099 information forms manually. In IRS Publication 5717 that I mentioned earlier, there are step-by-step instructions on how to do everything in this portal. So if you need kind of a walkthrough of how to manually enter one or upload one, all the instructions are in that publication, which again are linked in the show notes. All right, to wrap up, let's finish by talking about the federal state combined filing program. There are currently about 30 states that participate in this, and you can report withholdings and payments for up to 2 states in the portal. The full list of participating states is also found in Publication 5717 on page 15. So I highly recommend reading that over, determining whether or not your state participates, and if so, it should make the process very easy for you. Thank you for joining me today on Accounting Recounted. If you have any questions or want to learn more, please feel free to reach out to me on our website at www.accountablenumbers.com or on social media at @accountablenumbers. My name is Amanda Hendren, and I hope you found this information informative. See you next time on Accounting Recounted.